Good morning. Today we are doing our last objective in Unit 5. This is CO33. I can write and solve proportions within measurement systems. So there will be times when you need to solve proportions with different units. Complete and use the guide below to help you remember the conversions. Because remember, inches and feet we need to convert to all be the same. Right? Minutes and seconds we need to convert so they're the same measurement. So we need to know our conversion guides. This guide you will be able to put on your help sheet to help you on the test, because sometimes we go, oh, I know all of that, and then we forget when it's time for the test. And every year I have somebody come up to me and go, I don't remember how many feet are in a yard or how many feet are in a mile. Okay, we might not remember some of these. So we're going to fill it in on our objective, and then I want you to put it on your help sheet. So let's look at, to start with, who knows how many seconds are in a minute? Christina? 60. How many minutes in an hour, Hadley? 60. How many hours in a day? Michael? 24. How many days in 1 year, Luke? 365. How many inches in a foot? Harper? How many feet in a yard? Hadley? How many yards in a mile? There are 1,760 yards in 1 mile. How many feet in 1 mile? Do you know, Vivi? Super close. It is 5,000 and it is 80, but you have the 100 wrong. Anybody know how many hundreds? 200. 200. 5,280. Did you guys have to learn that last year? You guys just know that? That's impressive. I did not know that off the top of my head. David?
I think I know how. We took the yards in a mile and we knew that there's 3 feet in a yard, so we multiplied it by 3.
Ah, that works. How many ounces in 1 cup? Any bakers in the room? How many ounces in a cup, Hadley? No. What do you think, Kyler? No, you guys gotta go down. What was that? Was that you, Mark? Robbie? What was it? 8. There are 8 ounces in 1 cup. Now, I always think 16. And then I go, oh, let me look it up to make sure I'm right. And it's 8. And I don't know why, but I always go for that 16 myself. But when I'm baking, I want to make sure I'm converting correctly. So I do look it up. Cups in a pint. What do you think, Graham?
16.
Not 16. Natalie?
Was it 4?
Not 4. A little bit lower. Mark? 2. 2 cups in 1 pint. How many pints in a quart? David?
2.
2 pints in 1 quart. And how many quarts in a gallon? What do you think, Christina? 4. So the first column, those ones we know, right? Those ones were pretty easy. The middle one, it took a little bit of work. We didn't know the yards in a mile. We could figure out the feet in the mile, but why make yourself do extra work? On your help sheet, just put it, how many feet in the mile, right? You don't need to do extra work. The baking one, that one gets me all the time. We're going to make sure we're putting that on our help sheet. Okay. So we have our converting that we have to do. Here, we can see we have our gallon, and then we can see there are 4 quarts in 1 gallon, and in each of those quarts there are 2 pints. Can you figure out how many pints are in a gallon? If we look at our picture, can you figure it out, Luke?
8.
Yeah, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so this is just a fun little guide for us for those pints and quarts in the gallon. we're going to see what math we do to figure out how many seconds are in one day. Because we all knew 60 seconds in 1 minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day. But now we need to figure out how many seconds are in one day. I do not know that number off the top of my head. So we're going to go through the math we do to get there. So 60 seconds for 1 minute. To go from 1 minute to 60 minutes, we're going to multiply by 60, right? Because to go from 1 minute to 60 minutes, we multiplied by 60. So 60 seconds times 60 gives me 3,600 seconds. Now to go from 60 minutes to 1 hour, that's a straight across conversion. 60 minutes is 1 hour. So we're just going straight across. So there's 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. Now to go from 1 hour to 24 hours, because there's 24 hours in a day, we're going to multiply that by 24. So we have to multiply up above by 24. 3,600 times 24 gives us 86,400 seconds. 24 hours is 1 day, so that's a straight across. So there's 86,400 seconds in 1 day. Does that make sense how we were doing that? When you look at your denominator, if it's converting to the same thing, 24 hours, 1 day, it's just a straight across, so your numerator just goes straight across. If we have to multiply that denominator to convert it, we have to multiply that numerator. Is that making sense? So let's look at our next one. How many inches are in 2 yards? So, to go from 1 foot to 3 feet, is that a straight across or is that a multiplying? Multiplying. What am I multiplying by, Amala? I'm multiplying by 3. So I have to do the same thing to my numerator and multiply by 3. What is 12 times 3? Beckett?
36.
So there are 36 inches in 3 feet. Now 3 feet to 1 yard. Is that a straight across conversion or am I multiplying, Claire? Straight across. So my 36 inches goes straight across. Now 1 yard to 2 yards, is that multiplying or straight across? Multiplying. What am I going to multiply by? By that 2. 1 times 2 equals 2, so I have to multiply up here by 2. 36 times 2 is 72. There are 72 inches in 2 yards. You always have to make sure that you go far enough. We don't want to stop at the 1 yard because our question asked about 2 yards. So make sure you're following all the way through to the end. Every year I have friends who do it mental math and we only write down some of the steps and then we make mistakes. And on the test we get it wrong because we're not following step by step by step. It seems tedious, right? And some of us are going, but I just know this. But we want to make sure we're not making those simple math mistakes. That's why we go step by step by step. Okay, seems tedious, but if we get it correct, putting in that little bit of extra time showing our work saves us a lot of time so we don't have to do that whole practice work and a retake on it. Show your steps, step by step by step, to make sure that you are doing it correctly and not making simple mistakes. Super easy to make simple mistakes. Let's work out our next one together. How many ounces are in 3 quarts? So what am I going to start with? What do you think is going to be my first thing I should write down? Graham? Yeah, because up on top, we know there's 8 ounces in a cup, but there's no other ounces listed up there. So we're going to start with those ounces in 1 cup. What do you think my next step would be? What do you think, Harper? Why would we go to 2 cups? Because we know 2 cups equals a pint, and then we have the pint to the quart, and that's what we want to get to is those quarts. So we have to go from ounces to cups to pints to quarts. So if we know 1 cup, we want to go to 2 cups. So is that a straight across, 1 to 2? No, we have to multiply. Multiplying by 2 here, so I have to multiply by 2 here. 8 times 2 is 16 ounces. What comes next after 2 cups, Christina? 2 cups equals 1 pint. Did I multiply or is that straight across? Straight across. So if that was straight across, my 16 ounces goes straight across. What would I do next? I'm at 1 pint. What do you think I need to go to, David?
2 pints.
I need to go to 2 pints. So that's multiplying. 1 to 2, I'm multiplying by 2. 16 times 2 is 32 ounces in 2 pints. What's going to come next, Amala? 2 pints we know is 1 quart. That was a straight across. So my 32 ounces goes straight across. My question asks, how many ounces are in 3 quarts? So if I'm at 1 quart, what's my next step, Rocco?
Multiply both by 3, so 3 quarts.
Yeah, I want to get to those 3 quarts, so I'm multiplying by 3. 32 times 3 is 96. So I know there are 96 ounces in 3 quarts. So I truly do every step of the way to make sure I'm not making those simple math mistakes. I know we can do some of this in our head, but when we do stuff in our head, 1, we go too fast, and 2, we make simple mistakes. Let's work on that bottom one. What would our first step be, Robbie?
So you have 80 beats per minute. So you multiply that by 60 to get it to 1 hour.
So we want to go from minutes to hours. So we're going to multiply by 60. Now, Robbie kind of skipped over going from 1 minute to 60 minutes. And he said, well, I know 60 minutes is 1 hour. But technically, 1 times 60 gives us 60 minutes. 80 times 60 gives us 4,800 beats. And that, we know, is 1 hour. So there is that added little step in there that Robbie just knew. But again, we want to make sure we're staying on track. Robbie, what's next?
There's 24 hours in a day, so you multiply 4,800 by 24.
We're multiplying both sides by 24 because there's 24 hours in a day. 4,800 times 24 is 115,200. What would I do next? Robbie?
And then that's 1 day, and there's 365 days, so you multiply it.
So hold on. We went straight across for the 1 day. And then Robbie's saying we want to go to 365 days. Oops, 65. That's a 6 there. So we're multiplying by 365. So 115,200 times 365 gives us 420,420 48,000. So that is 42,048,000 beats in 365 days, which is the same, going straight across, as 1 year. So 42,048,000 beats is 1 year. What's my last step, Robbie?
So that's 1 year, and it's 13 years, so multiply it by 13.
So now I need to multiply both sides by 13 because we want 13 years, not 1 year. What is 42,048,000 times 13? Luke?
1 second.
Got to figure out where to put those commas.
Okay, 503 million, 193,660.
That is not the same number I got. What did you take 42,048,000? Did we start with the right millions number? Try it again. Graham, what did you get?
546,624,000.
That is the number that I got. So I'm thinking that you put that first number in incorrectly, Luke. Luke, did you try it a second time? Did you get the correct answer this time? Okay. So sometimes we're getting these crazy big numbers, right? 546,624,000 beats in 13 years. That is a lot of heartbeats. Whew. Are we understanding how to follow that conversion process?
See how much
Our second page, you are having to convert. Make sure that you know the steps that you need to go through. So we are going to work on these conversion processes on our own. Are there any questions? Okay. If you have questions, you can come up and ask me. If you want to make sure that you're doing it correctly, you can come up and check it. Remember, tomorrow we're going to correct this, and then it's going to be a review day for our unit. Wednesday will be the practice test, Thursday the real test. So we will have retakes in Khan Academy on Friday. So I changed it up a little bit from my original plan, so that way we'll have Friday as a retake day for the Unit 4 test. So we have review tomorrow, we're correcting in review tomorrow, practice test Wednesday, real test Thursday. If you're watching this at home, I hope you are well, and I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.